Morning to you. Why have aid operations been suspended in Gaza for 24 hours? Is it just an acknowledgement that it's chaos?
Good morning, Matt. It's good to be on the show. Let's talk about aid. Let's try to do it seriously. Israel is now facilitating aid to Gaza in two different channels. The first channel is facilitating the entry of 1,000 aid trucks via Kerem Shalom. Unfortunately, the UN hasn't showed up to pick up the aid trucks. Hundreds of those aid trucks are waiting for the UN to pick them. The second channel, in this channel, the aid is being distributed through Gaza Humanitarian Fund. This is an American initiative. And the important thing about it is that the aid is distributed directly to the people and not to Hamas. This is what's going on. The idea
what you're saying is what it sounds like is you're not taking any responsibility then as the Israeli government. You're blaming the UN, you're blaming the Americans for it not working, when it is your responsibility to make sure, as we heard Dominic say there, that you provide food and aid to Palestinian civilians. Let me go even further. The UN aid chief, Tom Fletcher, says that you're using starvation as a bargaining chip. Are you?
Matt, is this the same UN official who said that so many children will die? I think he went with the number 10,000 children will die in 48 hours, and he said later, sorry, I just did a misinformation and fake news act. So I think Mr. Fletcher should be very cautious with his statements. And I want to get back to your point. What Israel is saying, let's try to have the aid being distributed directly to the people. Because one thing needs to be...
Why, Oren Marmorstein, has the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation decided to not provide aid today?
They were very clear that today the distribution points will be closed because they need to do logistical work in order to improve their operation. But I want us to pause about the rationality. Instead of channeling aid through vehicles and organization and routes that end up in the hands of Hamas, we're trying to do something different, something for the benefit of the people of Gaza. We're trying, via this American-led foundation, trying to have
hang on a second. The GHF is Israeli-American. It's a joint company, effectively, isn't it? It suits you to blame America when it goes wrong, and it certainly looks like it's going wrong.
We are not blaming America. On the contrary, we are thanking America for leading this entrepreneur. And the rationality behind this entrepreneur is that we're trying to get the aid directly to the people themselves. And let's pause for a second. Why do you think Hamas is doing everything possible to prevent this GHF, this humanitarian fund, from operating? I'll tell you why. Because they know that in this way of operation, the aid gets to the people and not to Hamas.
Well, explain the chaos then. Explain the Palestinian civilians who end up being shot. And that's coming to us via other means like the Red Cross as well, who say they're having to treat Palestinian civilians who have been shot in the areas of aid in recent days. I come back to my main point. The approach of the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation is not working. People are starving, civilians are getting hurt and killed.
I beg to differ.
You don't think civilians are getting hurt and killed in Palestine, in Gaza?
No, I beg to differ on your assumption that this operation, this Gaza Humanitarian Fund, is not operating and it's not successful. So far, more than 7 million meals have been distributed. This is an enormous number. And you need to understand, in the other way of operation, it went to Hamas. And Hamas used it in order to feed its war machine. So I'm asking the Sky viewers, who do we want to have the aid? Hamas or the people in Gaza? This is the whole rationality behind this operation. And I'll tell you one more thing. You know, there is ceasefire talks, and perhaps we should have a word about it. In these ceasefire talks, Hamas insisted that this Gaza Humanitarian Fund won't be part of the aid distribution. He insisted it will go back to the old channels. And I'm asking the viewers, why is that so? And the answer is very simple. Because this aid of the GHF, of this humanitarian fund, is going to the people and not to Hamas. And you know one thing? Hamas knows it. And he feels that it's getting to him. He feels that he's getting weaker and weaker, and he feels that his grip on the people of Gaza is being undermined. And that's why he's doing everything possible to try to sabotage this operation. And
you don't know, you don't know that even with GHF, where the aid is going. We've all seen the pictures of absolute carnage of people trying to collect these heavy boxes and walking miles to get them. You don't know whether it's going to the right people or, as you say, Hamas.
Matt, if I may, we know that this is being distributed to individuals. In the other way of operation, it went into Hamas' hands, which we know used it in order to rebuild its war machine and to pay salaries to recruit more terrorists. And if I may, I want to say a word about the most important thing, achieving a ceasefire. Because I think myself and also the viewers would like to see a ceasefire. And this ceasefire negotiation that I mentioned, and in which Hamas insisted not to have the Gaza Humanitarian Fund part of the aid distribution, right now we are in this state of affair that Hamas is refusing to agree to this ceasefire. This is not the spokesperson of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs saying. This is the United States, on record, Special Envoy Steve Witkoff saying Hamas' response to the ceasefire proposal is completely unacceptable.
And the Israeli government, let me come back on that point. The Israeli government spent 20 months bombarding Gaza and fighting Hamas. So you failed then if Hamas is still exerting so much control over the Gaza Strip. You haven't been successful in your aims.
You know, Matt, why this war is being carried out? The first reason is, of course, because Hamas started this war with the most terrible massacre on October 7th. And right now we're having this war, and it's still going on because of two reasons. First, to try to release our hostages, which are now more than 600 days being tortured in terrible conditions by the hand of Hamas. And the second reason why this war is still going on is to make sure that we don't have another 7 October. And if I may be personal for 1 second, I have two daughters, one at the age of 12, the other is the age of 9. What we're trying to do, and we want this war to be over. I can tell you to rush a 9-year-old girl to a shelter because of Houthis firing at us at the middle of the night is a nightmare. We want this war to be over. But there is one more thing that we want. We don't want another 7 October. I don't want my girls to experience the things that the girls in the kibbutzim of Nir Oz and Be'eri experience.
Yes.
None of us in Israel wants to see another October 7.
But there is one final question here. I'm a father of girls, and plenty of people in Gaza are fathers of girls as well, and boys, and children in general. Is it really worth children dying in Gaza as well to prove your point?
I'll be very clear. Every child that is killed is a tragedy. I don't care if it's an Israeli, Palestinian, British, full stop. But just think of our situation, Matt. Would you enable, you talked about your girls, a situation in which your girls are still in jeopardy of being, God forbid, raped, burned alive? if nothing is being done? Because, again, this is not Israeli Minister of Foreign Affairs speaking. This is Hamas speaking. They said on record, we want to do another 7th of October. We want to do another massacre. Just the moment we can, we'll come back. So the only thing we're trying to do is to make sure they're not coming back.
Yeah. Oren Marmorstein, thank you very much.
Thank you.